Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Morning Coffee. I am Jay, and this is Willie.
What's going on?
Yay. Hey, you know what?
Huzzah!
I figured since we decided to move the show to Sunday morning, we'd bring back Morning Coffee. So cheers to everybody. Let's wake everybody up.
Cheers.
And it wouldn't be Morning Coffee without the intro, so let's kick that, guys, right now. Good morning. Oh, that'll wake you up in the morning. Fresh pots, indeed. Can you believe that I got Dave Grohl to agree to come back for every single intro for the show?
That's unbelievable.
Well, so there. Well, Dave's leaving right now. All right, see you, buddy. Yeah, text you later. All right, he's
Bye,
gone.
Dave.
Thanks to Mr. Grohl for hanging out. What's going on, buddy? So we're hanging. Look at all the lovely people in the chat so early. Cutthroat, I'm always impressed that you're here because you are in California. And dude, it's like 7 a.m. So good to see you. Bat Stan is here. Matt Tracker Ruben, good morning. Mr. Completionist, good to see you as well. What's up, guys?
Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
I'm not awake. Didn't go to sleep until 4:30. Starfield.
Oh, I feel that, Matt. I was playing that late into the nights. I think I was up until 1 a.m. on YouTube last night.
I saw you posted your stream after, or you kept it up, and I saw it was like 5 hours and 29 minutes. I was like, oh.
You get so lost in that game.
I don't know how much of my stream you caught. We started off this random mission. Oh yeah, you're making fun of my aim. And so was someone else. That was funny. After that, we discovered Neon. I just picked a random quest. It took us to Neon, and we got a job with this corporation. We had a job interview and all this stuff. It was so fun. I didn't want to stop, but it was good.
Yeah, when you get to like Neon, that game really opens up because there's a bunch of quests and like a whole stuff that actually centralizes around Neon as well too. It gets really cool.
It's nice to see. As much as I like the planets, it's nice to see like a live city with like neon lights and all shops and all kinds of walks of life instead of just like rocks. Do you know what I mean? So as much as I like that, it's nice to change it up. Pains, what's going on, mate? Tutoring ourselves Sunday morning. I see. Well, or torturing. Sorry, I thought initially that said tutoring overseas. Hang on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Plain black coffee. That'll work. Good to see you. Lisa is here. Good morning. Good to see you, Elise. Do you have any ideas to get Flint in Tears of the Kingdom?
Mainly like caves and stuff.
Yeah, it's caves. Blowing up the rock with bombs. Or if you have Yonobo activated, he breaks that stuff down. So I would try that. That's how you get Flint. This was you. This is all you. Okay. You said Double Dragon. You said we should watch Double Dragon next. I have the video evidence. This is all your fault that we had to watch this.
It's a good movie.
Okay. I got my notes. Did you take notes?
No, all my notes are up here.
This here for me, it doesn't work so good anymore. So I got the old iPhone. So I'll take us through this sweet ride. So we've decided we're going through all the old video game magazines. We're having a really great time doing that, and we're kind of
Mhm.
flip flopping back and forth every other week between the video game themed movies and the show. Has now been branded Morning Coffee because we're doing it Sunday morning. Hey, it's all coming together.
Woohoo!
It's all coming together. Um, Before we get started here, everyone, my co-host and good friend WillyLo is also on YouTube here. So if you've not given him a sub, please do so now. He streams on Twitch and on YouTube and produces some really funny content. So check him out.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I don't have many slides. Let's bring up the epic poster. Okay.
Look at that. It's so good.
Dude, let's start it off. I agree. Let's start it off. At least they used the actual Double Dragon font. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is more we can say for the Super Mario Brothers movie where they changed it to post-apocalyptic font. This is like straight up Double Dragon.
Yeah, like you look at that, like compared to this, comparing it to like the Super Mario Brothers one we watched, like the two posters, I feel like you get immediately, this is based off Double Dragon the game. The other one, I still don't know what it like. You looking at it innately, you're just like,
I
yeah,
think I think if I remember some of the posters for Mario Brothers, the tagline was this ain't no game or this
yeah,
isn't a game or something like that. So is that Brandon Lee? You,
no.
you know what's funny? I wrote down some of the actors' names except the two leads. So anyone in chat knows who these are. Lisa
So,
thinks the one guy on the left is from Party of Five. That sounds about right.
the one on the in the red who plays Jimmy, that's Mark Dacascos.
Okay.
I know him from John Wick, the third
Oh,
movie.
okay.
So he's the Japanese assassin they hire to go after John Wick in that movie. He's been in a lot of other movies as well too, but that's where I recognized him from.
Okay. Okay. They both look like Power Rangers, like flat out Power Ranger actors, which is fine. I'm just calling it as I sees it, right?
But that also like ties into the time, right? Because Power Rangers, I know Power Rangers is still big. Don't no one flame on me on that because I know people still watch that. But at the time during this movie, Power Rangers is huge, right? And I'm sure that they
Oh
were
yeah.
trying to captivate a lot of that, being that they're aiming the video game stuff to a younger crowd. I could see where they want to bring in a lot of this, and you can actually tell a lot of it when you watch it, where you're like, yeah, I can see what they're kind of inspiring it from.
Crow Stairway to Heaven TV show. Stanley was he was the crow in that show? I remember the TV show. Or are you just saying you like that? That might be where Lisa's thinking because he looks like he would have played the crow at some point. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't really know who these two dudes are. The Party of Five thing sounds about right. We also have Robert Patrick,
Mhm.
and we'll get to close-ups. Robert Patrick, of course, is best known for T-1000 and Terminator 2. And then we have Alyssa Milano, who's I think she's a very successful actress. She's been in a lot, of course. She's probably best known for, I'd say, Commando with Schwarzenegger and Who's the Boss, the sitcom from the 80s.
I only remember her from them, but she was like a little kid then. She's
She was, yeah, she was a little
she's
kid
no
in both
little
of
kid in
those.
this movie.
She was in Fear with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg, and that's all I really know her from.
I don't think I've ever
So
seen that.
we got some pretty big. I think this is Mark's like first breakthrough movie. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, buddy? Sam. Who's Sam? What is Sam? What is that? Oh, Mark was Eric Draven in the show. Okay, there you go. Thank you. There you go. So that makes sense. Okay. The font is correct. Uh I'm just gonna read my notes. I'm trying to remember what I scribbled down. I was half asleep. Jimmy and Bimmy with the buzzkill noogie cost them the karate tournament. I guess that's the opening scene, right?
Yeah, so they're having like a no holds barred karate tournament in the mean streets of whatever city this is in.
New Angeles.
Yeah.
New Angeles because LA has been destroyed from pollution.
And
There's like
earthquakes?
earthquakes all the time. There's lots of commercials and stuff like that where they sell like shock proof things for your home so your home will
Mm,
stay together. We could see a lot of the skyscrapers in New Angeles have like ridiculous poles holding them up.
yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, a lot of the matte paintings are really well done in this.
Mhm.
Like this, I don't know if it had a bigger budget than Super Mario Brothers, but there's a lot more sets than there was in Mario Brothers. And they show New Angeles. Sounds weird to say that. I don't know. I thought that part was pretty cool. The big earthquake of 2007. It's an everyday thing with black rain. You can't really go out it during the day. Oh no, wait! You can go out during the day. You can't go out during the night because of all the gang activity.
Yeah, so like the police are scared of they have like an agreement with the gangs that they control the night and then the police patrol during the day or something.
Right. Vanna White, and it's funny you say that because that's my next slide. So Vanna White, and what's the other guy's name? George Hamilton, who I always thought should have been James Bond at some point. I don't have a slide of George, but
Really?
Vanna White and George Hamilton are like the newscasters. And I thought this slide was funny because it's like Madonna breaks up with, I forget who it was, someone ridiculous, and she moves to France, which is funny because in the 90s, she married Guy Ritchie, or in the early 2000s, and they moved to France, I think. I
Hmm.
think. I don't know. It's pretty cool. But yeah, we could see the celebrities of the time, and this came out in 94, right? So I don't know, I think that's pretty neat. Oh, there's also like Andy Dick. You remember Andy Dick?
Yep. Yeah,
He
Andy
was the
Dick.
weatherman.
Uh that guy was always very abrasive to me. I know that was his stick as like an actor, but
Yeah,
I
he's
couldn't
not
abide him.
funny. He to me tried to do what Tom Green did, right? And I
And
just think
failed miserably.
fail. Like Tom is like, don't try and copy Tom Green. It's like, don't try and copy Jim Carrey, right? Ryan Reynolds. Don't try and copy Tom Green kind of thing. Okay. So we see a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. Garbage fuels cars.
A la Back to the Future.
Yeah, so it looks like they have like a juicer kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
exactly
don't know
what Doc Brown did.
exactly, Mr. Fusion. So you have a juicer, and there's once again there's something about post-apocalyptic stuff in the 90s. The second film that we've seen this. I don't know if it's easier to shoot stuff like this or what the case is, but there's like this big vacuum tube
Mhm.
on the bottom of their car, and I have the name of it down here later. I think it's called the Dragon Mobile or something dumb like that.
That sounds right. Yep.
Um, there's a way too long car chase. I put a note here.
Uh that,
Post-apocalyptic LA. Yeah, okay.
that car chase was oh my god.
Yeah,
It was
and
unnecessary, but
it was. I started to get worried.
and
Right,
then
I
they
was
had
like,
like
okay.
that they threw that map out the window and it covered the windshield and then a Bobo does like the whole like he takes a joystick out and then start controlling the car with the joystick and playing on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stop.
So we get a Bobo. This is him. Okay, so a Bobo is he's a boss. He's known in Double Dragon. Big guy, bald. Always reminded me of Sagat a little bit. So as we can see, this looks nothing like him at all. Which at this point, after watching Mario and now watching this, I guess we're kind of used to it, right? Like it's funny. Their truck here, there's a close up of the grill, and we can see it's like teeth. But when it's like driving, you can see like the tin foil like blowing in the wind. It's like, I don't know
So
if
scary.
don't know if it was supposed to be metal. Jesse Eisenberg. I have no idea, dude. Um, if that's the actor. There's a lot of those actors. There's the two other brothers who know karate or whatever, and the one guy is a thug in Die Hard, and he's been in a million other movies like that. I'm pretty sure he's in Commando and Running Man
Mm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're like the generic, like stereotypical villain, like sidekicks. They're not even like usually the main villains. They're like the sidekick people, right?
Yeah. Oh, Lisa says Andy Dick is gross.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
I totally agree with that 100%. Jeff says, Jay, the Super Mario Brothers movie 1993 budget was 48 million estimated. Double Dragon was 7 million. Wow.
And they look the same.
Well, like I said, I think that this movie is much bigger in scale.
They did a lot more with the budget in this movie. Okay, look, I don't think it's a good movie, but
Don't
I
lie.
feel like the amount of money that they spent, if you look at that comparison wise, I think they did a better job spending a fraction of the cost on like stuff for this movie than they did in Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. The Mario Brothers sets also looked really, really small. Um, Alyssa Milano is the leader of a gang called the Power Corps, which is
Hmm.
funny because, of course, her dad is the chief of police. So she's like Batman, where, um,
Oh,
her
Batgirl,
her Bruce, yeah,
Barbara, Barbara Gordon.
Batgirl. So her Bruce Wayne persona, she has to wear a wig at home because I guess she has punk rock, short blonde hair. Her dad can't see any of that stuff in her wild style. So at home, she has to hide with a red wig. And then when her dad goes to work being the chief of police, she goes out and runs the Power Core gang. So
Hmm.
here's what Alyssa Milano looks like in the Double Dragon movie. She looks great. I always was a big fan of her. I think she's a great actress and she's good in this. I have no
They,
complaints about her, honestly.
they have like, I get it because they're young boys, but they definitely have a fixation on like staring at her butt in this
Yeah, I
movie.
made a note of that.
Okay.
There's one particular part too, and this is kind of a point I wanted to bring up too. There's a part when they fall down this elevator and they all kind of land on top of each other. And Bimmy, or whoever the guy in the red is, falls and she's on her back, and Bimmy's head is on her stomach, and he's like staring at her chest, like for a few seconds, to the point where Jimmy, because Jimmy likes her, gets jealous and pushes him off.
Mhm.
There's also two shots I counted where like her shorts are short, dude.
Yeah.
They're short, which is fine. But I'm just saying she bends over a lot. There's a lot of sexual imagery in this with her.
Mhm.
So, dude, I'm not a
I felt
prude.
weird. I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
prude, and neither are you. So it's not the sexual imagery I have an issue with. What I'm just trying to figure out is who this movie is for.
Because it was definitely aimed at kids, but like that alone, I'm like, that's not really a kid thing. Like, and it's not even like they were like, coy about it. Like it was like right there's a scene where she's crawling into a air vent,
Yep.
and then they zoom up right on her butt, and
Yeah,
then
the
they're like
cameraman,
looking at
like,
each other.
he actually zooms in. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with it. I just don't understand like who this is marketed to, because the news station was also called Channel 69. I don't know if you noticed that too.
Yep.
I was just like, okay, Lisa says typical 90s. That's
That's
fair.
yeah. No, you're not wrong there.
You got a really uh, attractive woman as one of your leads. I get it. I'm just thinking, I would say, and we've had this talk before, that around this time in video games were still marketed towards kids for the most part. I don't know many adults, like parents our age, um, that were interested in video games at all. I don't know really
Mhm.
anybody. So again, I'm just, who's this for? I guess maybe having Alyssa Milano in it will make your dad want to take you to the theater, and we get to see the karate fighting, and he gets to see Alyssa Milano. I don't know. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and it suffers from the same thing, just like Mario Brothers. I just think this era they just didn't understand what video games were,
Right.
and they're trying to find out where it fit, right? And then they're like, well, everybody makes a movie of something, so we have to make movies. So what, parents are buying movies, so let's make it more mature stuff. But really, that wasn't the case for some of this stuff. I don't
Agreed. And it's really great to go back in time in video game history. Again, I have my notes here. That's why I have my phone in my hand. It's great to go back in video game history and go back and kind of relive this time period where video games didn't know what they were.
know. Mhm.
I think we got a few action figures from this. I think we got some from the Mario Brothers movie. I remember
Yeah.
seeing those Mario Brothers figures and nobody wanted them. They're worth a bit now, right? Because everything is worth something. But back then, I remember seeing those figures. I'm like, I want Mario with the red and blue overalls, the cartoon Mickey Mouse Mario. I don't want Bob with the same Hoskins. I was calling Bob Costas. Bob Hoskins on my shelf. Thanks very much. Staring at me. I didn't want Captain Lou Albano either. It was just weird, man.
I would prefer Captain Lou over Bob Hoskins. I like his portrayal. Like, he looks good as a Mario when he gets in the suit, but I don't know. Captain Lou just had it all.
It's like when Disney has a few adult jokes thrown into the animated features. Yeah, I guess it's for the parents that take the kids to the theater.
I guess,
Um,
but like the Disney stuff at least was subtle, right? And it wasn't like just in your face. Like, yeah, here's her butt. Oh, we're looking at her chest. She's an attractive female. You know.
and with Alyssa Milano's shorts, I'm just saying, like, it goes right up there. Like, you see, it's almost like underwear. It's not even like it's like they're just zooming in on her butt, right? They're zooming in on her butt, and she has like the sexy shorts or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Again, not being a prude at all because we're adults, but just trying to figure out. Does anybody know what this movie was rated? There's something. If someone could look that up in the chat, that would be awesome. TJ, what's going on, buddy? Didn't get a chance to say hi. Good to see you. So a Bobo fails in. Oh yeah, we should talk about the medallion. There's a stupid medallion, and it's broken in two. And T1000 has one half, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi character, female, who I guess looks after the Bimmy and
So
Jimmy.
yeah,
She has the other half, which she wears around her neck, like Flavor. It's like a clock, like Flavor Flav would wear.
yeah.
Like
We
it's
we got to keep this medallion secret and hidden.
right, but it's like gigantic, right?
Yeah, it's like they're wearing
Uh,
it around their neck the whole time. I'm like, it's not really
Brian, what's
hidden.
going on, mate? How you doing? I heard Will is gonna cosplay the sexy shorts. Ooh, nice, very nice.
Yeah, that's
Halloween,
for the next stream.
Halloween's coming up.
I'm gonna
Okay,
dye
so
what I have left of my hair blonde. Put on the
brace
filters.
yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because this image is quite. It's just bizarre. Okay, so a Bobo fails to capture the Lee boys, or he fails to get the medallion. I just watched it and I can't remember. And so T1000 takes him into his underground lair where he's making mutant zombies that we find out later. Spoiler alert. And he mutates a Bobo who was already gigantic, and now he's even more gigantic, but he looks like he has pillows in his clothes. I don't know if it's supposed to be like not his head, but his arms, right?
Yeah,
Like it looks like they're stuffed literally with pillows, which they probably were, but it doesn't look like muscles at all.
Bib Fortuna. It does kind of look.
And again, so here's a choice, right? And I'm not a master will of the Double Dragon lore. I don't know
No.
if you are. I don't know if this happened to a Bobo in one of the games. I don't remember seeing anything like this.
So I did look this up a bit. I think I mentioned it to you as well, though. But they based this movie off of the arcade fighting Double Dragon game on the Neo Geo. And
Oh
apparently
my
a Bobo
god.
does that, where he looks like a regular punk, like big buff dude, and then all of a sudden he just like becomes like this big mushroom, like I don't know, marshmallow pillow thing, and like gets stronger.
What a deep cut. The Double Dragon on Neo Geo. Like that's
And not even like a beat 'em up. It was the like a one-on-one fighting game.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Interesting. The mutant Abobo fight scene. He doesn't look too threatening. He just falls over and he's beaten. I think he just falls off the stage. And we should say that Jimmy and Bimmy live in an old abandoned, not movie theater, but it's like a stage theater,
Yeah. Yeah, like a production theater of some sort. Like,
production theater. Thank you. With like, this is where I started to kind of make fun of it a little bit, where to look post apocalyptic in the 90s, everything has to be filled with literally just any random junk they found.
yeah, it's always junk.
It's like there's like I saw a few points of interest. I saw a drum set, a half set up drum set, a kiddie pool that was blown up with a beach ball in it, Okay. And then there's like random TVs.
Yep.
Just it seems like, okay, I'm gonna call my friend Carl and you call your friend Steve and anyone else we know in the movie industry and just grab whatever props we can just to fill this set to make it look post-apocalyptic. It's just
Yeah. And then they also throw in like I don't know, it was like a 90s punk thing, I feel like. But like they always had like, the skates park stuff in there too, right? So ramps
yeah.
everywhere and
Dude, the gangs are hilarious in this. I don't think maybe I have a picture of one. Yeah, I have a picture of one. It's not great quality, but whatever. Yeah. So I mean the gangs are it's like the Warriors and I remember seeing the Warriors and just thinking like some of the gang themes are silly. That's nothing compared to this.
yeah.
So take the same thing about Brian, thank you, Playhouse. I like that. Take take the same idea as the Playhouse in the post-apocalyptic setting and put it to your actors for gangs, right? Nothing is uniformed. It's just literally any piece of clothing from any set ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a whatever they could find.
At one
But
point,
like
you have. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say kudos to them because like if you think about Double Dragon though, like the people you come across and you're fighting in the streets in Double Dragon, like they are very eccentric.
Yeah,
So if you're tying it into somehow trying to figure out why this is happening and like so many gangs roam the street in the video game version of Double Dragon, when you compare it to this, I kind of see like, at least they made an effort to kind of link it to the game.
I think I had it wrote down somewhere in my notes here. There's at one point they're doing this big fight. I think it's in this park. Their car dies down. Um, it's like what is it? I have it written here. The grilled cheese engine dies. It's literally called a grilled cheese engine because it runs off of grilled cheese or it makes grilled cheese. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that
Um,
joke. I was trying to figure out why they
Well,
said
he
that. And
takes
I was
the
like, what?
engine off and it's like all cheese on it. I'm the same. I'm like, so you make a grilled cheese on the engine, or the grilled cheese is the fuel for the engine, or
Well, they were throwing garbage into it, right?
yeah,
And like that fueled the car going.
it
And
doesn't make
then they
sense.
threw like was it a can of compressed air or something that made it really explode or whatever?
It doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, it was the aerosol cheese. That's
Okay,
why they said it now. Now that makes sense. Now I'm thinking about it. Because they had like, the spray cheese
yeah,
and he put some in his mouth and then they threw it into the car and that made it like combust and they made a joke on how like awful that stuff must be for you.
I don't remember that at all. I take your word for it. I just
See?
watched it this morning.
Everything's up here.
Well, everything's up here, and I still don't remember it. So there you go. Um, the blonde woman thug at least has her whip. I don't have a
So
picture
that's
of her
Lash.
with the whip. Lash, thank you very much.
I'm
So a nice
for sure.
attention to detail that they gave her the whip.
She's a lot more attractive to Elisa Milano.
Pardon?
Said I think she's a lot more attractive than Elisa Milano.
Oh, she's
Maybe
attractive. Yeah, she's attractive, of course. Yeah, but you like her better than Alyssa Milano, is what you're saying.
no,
That's okay. You say whatever you want,
maybe
man.
it's the
You're
whip.
amongst friends.
Well, not the stream to talk about whips. Don't worry about it.
Well, there you go. She's actually got it around her neck. I didn't notice that. She has it like draped around her neck. So there you go. So they gave her
Who's
the
that
whip.
Patrick's?
She doesn't really look anything like. I'm just picturing the first game again. So I'm not a Double Dragon expert. I don't care about the looks. I appreciate the fact that they gave her the whip. Okay. So
Hmm.
I'm fine with that. And she's kind of like Robert Patrick's right hand man, right? She's like the main
Yep.
thug kind of thing. Let's go on to Alyssa Milano's brother is playing virtual reality all by himself in his bedroom. So virtual reality is the one gaming technology that will not die. It has literally been around since like 1989.
Mhm.
It's still going today.
Uh, I think virtual
Nobody
reality
wants
has
to
a real.
play that. Nobody wants
No,
to play it.
that's not
Stop it.
true. Lots of people play VR now. You may not be playing VR, but there is a lot of
Nobody
people
wants
that
to
play
play it.
VR.
No. No.
Millions of VR units have been sold.
Brian says better than Alyssa Milano. I don't know about that. Good looking lady for sure, but better than Milano? Maybe. I don't know, Will. So yeah, you better rethink that, Buster.
I'm not saying nothing to Brian.
The gang members literally look like they grabbed anything from wardrobes of other movies to wear, which is fine. We just touched on that. Jay is wrong. VR gaming is fantastic. There you go.
Told you.
So
VR troopers.
there's one
that's a
gang
gig.
member that is a postman, and he like jumps off the building and he like throws letters is like his weapon. I took a note of this because it seems that it kind of reminds me of Dawn of the Dead, where the zombies, like when the people get turned into zombies, they go to the mall and they still kind of have a recollection of what they used to do in the old world. So they're still trying to do that. That's what everybody in this movie reminds me of. Like you have the guy that was obviously a postman and he can't let it go for some reason, even though Los Angeles has fallen.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that like is that a dig at like the symptoms of society? Like some people just don't know what they are without their job.
Perhaps.
Are we thinking? Or this is maybe we're thinking too much into this. But
well, I don't know. A lot of people, their job becomes their identity. I mean, they love their job so much, they get into it so much.
Yeah,
they become workaholics. I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of interesting.
is there a man? I'm trying to remember. I feel like I remember seeing like people dressed as regular job stuff in Double Dragon when you're running around and beating them up. Was there a mailman one eventually? Like,
I remember 1 and 2, mostly for NES, and they were just regular thugs, like the vest without the shirt. Like they all look like the Warriors. I don't remember any like specialty. They just look like wrestler thug dudes. So I don't know. We have to look that up. I'm gonna look up that Neo Geo game for sure. They escape in a boat, but a scene earlier we saw a gang member fetch water and throw it on the fire to make the flames higher. So they can't beat all these thugs in this park. So they get cornered into a shed.
Yep.
You see a motorbike, a street bike. Great, they're going to escape with that. The joke is it falls apart. But instead, Bimmy or Jimmy finds a speedboat.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I was confused about, and to nitpick, but hey, that's what we do here. Mm-hmm. The scene before, you see one of the thugs scooping water out of the LA River, dumping it on the fire to make the fire bigger. So leading us to believe it's toxic. And then
they actually mention themselves. They're like, I'm not swimming through that sludge. It'll like melt your face off or whatever they said.
Right after they escape in the speedboat. So I'm just like, I guess your back's to the wall. You have to do what you have to do. But a speedboat with everything splashing, it's like, well, you don't want to get that water on you. It would be like maybe gasoline. And then, one of them says, if you swallow the water, you'll have diarrhea and your hair will fall out.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought there was another cool moment. I thought it was pretty fun. And up until this point, I didn't think there was any really cheesy one-liners. Did you notice anything up till now? I didn't notice anything that was super cringy.
Nothing that really stood out to me. No, not like Super Mario Brothers.
Palpatine is in the house. Greetings, Emperor. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Jay, Christina Wagner played Linda Lash, mainly known for being in General Hospital, not something I watched, but this may have ended her career.
Yeah.
Or created a more adult career. Well, I don't know what you mean. She's an adult, isn't she?
Huh. Yeah, she looks like an adult. What are you talking
Emperor about? Is shocking us and then cheersing us. Thanks, buddy. Keep us in line. Appreciate it.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
Well, dude, we were watching a bunch of the Robot Chickens. I found Molar, the attorney and dentist. I found the figure the other day. I picked it up.
I saw you post about that, yeah.
Yeah, and so we were just going back and watching the Robot Chicken stuff is so good.
Man, that's such a great show. They're not doing any more of it, right?
No, but it's fun. That was all Seth Green. I think it was Seth Green's show, yeah. And then Seth MacFarlane did a bunch of the voices and totally awesome. Many shots of Alyssa Milano's butt.
Yep, lots of that.
The cop and the whip lady fight. the Lash lady fight, and it's hilarious. I wrote.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. So like the Lash character is set up to be like this badass like enforcer type. She's just awful.
Yeah. We got to show Robert Patrick's character. I haven't showed him yet. So there's what he looks like. Full, like, dude, there isn't any more. There isn't another 90s character like this. Like, this is like, it's so stupid to say because it takes place in the 90s, but
Mhm.
you want to talk about the fashion of the 90s right here, man. He looks like he's out of a Color Me Bad music video. Like 100%. And it's
Yeah.
so friggin' awesome.
I think he portrays his character well though. I really liked all of his acting in this.
Ye Yes, I don't have a problem with Robert Patrick. I don't particularly think he's a super great actor. I think he's great as the T-1000. This he's pretty good.
He's
Also,
very
he's pretty good.
over the top and like super eccentric as a character, and I feel like that fit as like a video game villain.
Yes. Yeah, he's pretty good. The Lair of Zombies, there's a basketball zombie boss that they fight. Again, just some random who said Matt said look up Double Dragon 5. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the I think it's the Neo Geo
That's
one.
the Neo Geo one-on-one fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I put channel 69 is dumb.
Yep.
Jimmy and Bimmy are captured. The big reveal is that Robert Patrick killed the Lee brothers' father.
Oh my god!
Because I guess he said there was a throwaway line, I think, where he said he was like over 1,000,000 years old or something like that. Something ridiculous. Right. So it's a generational thing. So now it's personal. I still don't know why he wants the medallion. Do you remember why? Why does he want the
Okay.
medallion?
So the medallion has two parts, right? So it was broken in half. One
Purposely
part,
broken in half.
yes. So
Yeah.
one part strengthens the body and the will, and the other is strengthens the mind. So whatever
Okay.
you think can do will come to fruition with the mind. So
Okay.
he has the portion with the mind, and which gives him his very awful power of turning into a one-dimensional flimsy character.
He's
I
like
don't,
a shadow
he's supposed to be
kind
a
of.
shadow, but it looks like
Yeah.
he's just a cardboard cutout every time he turns into it. But
This
the
is
other
their
one strengthens the body.
this is their reaction to seeing the shadow
Yeah.
graphics.
Ah!
I I liked the idea. I liked when it was kind of when the shadow was kind of on the ground, flat.
Yeah.
It
When
looked
when it
pretty
goes into
cool.
like looking like a shadow, and then sometimes when it's like clawing at things, you're like, yeah, that's kind of menacing. But when it's
Yeah.
just like him, and then it's obviously all they did was just use a picture of him and then just add some effects to make it wavy. You're like, that looks dumb.
Yeah, we got to be a bit generous because it is very early CG. However, this must be budgetary because you look at James Cameron's Terminator 2, 2 years prior to this, and the liquid metal of T-1000, so great. And Jurassic Park, I think, was the year before this.
Yep.
The dinosaurs in that, especially the T-Rex, are so great.
And you want to even go back like Who Framed Roger Rabbit had better effects.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't that bad. Honestly, I thought they would be a lot worse. And I like the
That bugged
idea.
me.
I like the idea that he turned into the shadow, but then it does this really lazy thing where he possesses Bimmy. Whatever
Jimmy.
one actually knows karate because it's Bimmy in the red. He obviously is a trained martial arts actor because you
Yeah.
see him. He's doing all his own stunts. We don't see Jimmy doing anything, but Bimmy does all his fight scenes. So they kind of take the lazy writing approach and he possesses Bimmy. So it's Jimmy versus Bimmy at the end because I don't think Robert Patrick, they're not going to hire a stunt double to do a fight scene, right? So they just have the two Lee brothers fight each other. A little easy. Little easy. Right? A little bit.
It's yeah.
Or you could reverse that and say brother versus brother, it's causing some kind of tension. But
Yeah.
right?
I don't yeah. It was weird. I don't know if I do like that body takeover thing.
It's
And the way
lazy.
they just did like the voice of um like Robert's voice over top of them instead of having the real voice was kind of weird.
Yeah, and then we even get phase 2 of that, so they beat him up again, and then he turns into 2, like, shadow ninjas.
Yeah, what was that about?
So once again, it's like his second boss form, I guess. But once again, it's not Robert Patrick fighting, it's 2 masked
Yeah.
trained martial arts actors,
And
right?
like for being a superpower, like
Mhm.
turning into like those two ninjas, a man who's lived for I don't know whatever thousands of years or
We said over
whatever.
1,000,000 years or whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
okay. How do they fight so poorly?
Yeah, like, yeah, literally, what are
It was
you
worse
doing
than
with
like some of
what are you
the
doing with
original
your
Star Wars
time?
films.
Yeah, like, what are you doing with your time? You haven't learned everything ever? You should know everything of you could do anything on this planet if you've lived 1,000,000 years. You should be a
Yeah.
master tradesman in everything.
If you're not like a master at least like they're using what katanas, whatever this like I don't know, some kind of sword type. If you don't know how to use those efficiently and you can't beat up two teenage kids, you've messed up your life.
Yeah. Scott, what's up, mate? Good to see you here. Brian says Jurassic Park was in 1991, and there's actually less than 14 minutes of dinosaurs in the whole movie. The animatronics and CG were both so good that everyone remembers it. Yeah, 100%. I
Did you
totally agree. That's what I was just saying. And you could obviously it's Steven Spielberg versus I don't even know, right?
who
But
did this?
there's
I'm not even looking at it.
clearly a difference. Same with Terminator. It's James Cameron compared to this. I get that. But yeah, Jurassic Park has aged very well.
Hmm.
Terminator 2 has aged very well. These graphics, they're not the worst I've seen. I was pleasantly surprised. We got to go back to Whip Lady here. Because they capture Alyssa Milano, who's the head of the Graffiti Nation or whatever the hell it was called. They capture Alyssa Milano. They have her arms behind her back. She can't move. And the Whip Lady actually walks up to her and says, "Now who's the boss?"
Ah, there's your one-liner. That's awful. I didn't even catch that onto that.
What? I was like, oh my God.
Uh, do you think she cringed at that? Do you think for her growing up, being as big as that show was at the time, do you think she's never lived down like being on that show? Do you think people just reference it to her all the time, even today?
This is what I think. I think all those child actors they got their start there. Okay. And then they were known for, let's just say Alyssa, known for Who's the Boss throughout the 90s, hated it.
Mhm.
Stop calling me Alyssa. I'm in this like sexy vampire movie now. I'm an adult. You can see that. I don't want to be known for that. And
Yeah.
then I think the jobs aren't as plentiful anymore. And then you circle back and you embrace that. I know Mark Hamill went through that in the 90s. Okay.
Really?
Yep. There was a time when he was tired of being known as Luke. He was making a comic book called Black Pearl, and he was very like, I'm in other stuff, but everyone just calls me Luke. And he was very resentful, but then you come back around, unless you're Harrison Ford. But you know what I mean? Then you come back around, and it's like, okay, well, maybe, I can still make a career out of that. So I think Alyssa Milano, I don't know if she does this. Okay, I'm just speculating. She could make a career going to Comic Cons being Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss. So I think they shy away from where they came from because they want to separate themselves. But then as they get older, it's like, hey, it's not so bad. Many people never had this opportunity. They learn to appreciate it. That's just what I think.
Yeah, you're probably yeah. Yeah, I could
Right?
see that. That's weird to think about, but yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to be honest.
I mean, this day and age, it's different, right? I think I don't know. We're not going to get into the term celebrity and all that stuff. That's for another stream, but I
Mhm.
don't know. A Bobo sees his reflection in the mirror and freaks out and breaks free. Okay. Now, I thought this was kind of hilarious. It's tragic because he's massively deformed now, right?
Hmm.
but he sees his reflection, and only then does he freak out. Why didn't he like look at his, hand or arm or any other part of his body and be like, "Oh my god, what did they do to me?"
I think the thing with him, they played it off in the beginning, is that his character is one of he wanted to be always ripped, and they mentioned that he's taken so many steroids that it's affected his brain.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why when you see him, he's always like, "Ah!"
Yeah, he's really
Yeah,
like what
it's
is that? Do we see what goes into creating these zombie mutant soldiers? Like that doesn't even
mm,
get explained. It's like he has this secret lab. They're all lying on tables, and we
yeah,
don't know what it is they're using to make them.
and they're not even alive. Like the only time they come up is because what's his name? Koga Shoga Shuko. I don't remember the boss name. Anyways, he jumps into their bodies to attack them. Right?
Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's
like
Koga. I think it's Koga.
Koga, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only reason they come up and like they become animated again is because he uses that power to jump into their bodies. So they're just corpses. So I'm thinking he just had those as ways that he can use as like other arsenal for his ability.
It's weird, right? Yeah, it's weird because he lives on top of like a Trump tower. It's like Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2. We've seen this with Dennis Hopper's character actually in Mario. It's the same thing where he's rich, everything's clean in his tower,
Mhm.
everything's pristine, it's nice. Everyone else lives in shambles. So it's like you've already taken over the city. Why do you have to make these mutant zombie guys that are going to do what? It's just kind of like it was almost like a side story that we didn't even need to. Well, they didn't do anything with it, right? I
No.
don't remember there being a threat of like, oh my god, these zombie guys are coming. The police have to stop them.
Yeah, and the police were really just like nothing in this movie. Which I guess like in Double Dragon, they're not really like if you think about it, you never see a police presence. But
Well, same with Final Fight, right? Like Hagar's the mayor of the city, and he's like, okay, well, no one's gonna do anything, so I'll go get my daughter.
yeah.
Right? It's the same deal, but it's like, yeah, the police chief, who's Alyssa Milano's dad, is the only one at the end who will step up to save his daughter. Everyone else, I guess, is too afraid, and they don't
Mhm.
they don't go to Trump Tower or whatever, right?
Yeah. But they all show up at the end. They're like, ah, we did it.
What other slides have I not showed? I think I've shown all the slides. Let's put up a fun one. This one's fun. I like this one. Yeah, so Robert Patrick turns into one of the Lee brothers to fight because he can't fight. Then he turns into two ninjas because once again he can't fight. Abobo turns and becomes a good guy and helps them fight.
By telling them that he's weak to light because he's a
Yeah,
shadow boss character.
yeah. Did we see the Abobo turn? Did we see that coming?
Uh, the
He's
whole
kind.
Bobo thing is weird to me because he's like supposed to be like some super strong thing, but they just have him tied up with like rope and chain. And if he's like super strong, I feel like he could have broken out of that stuff very easily.
It seemed to me like they ripped off Goonies, like
Hmm.
pretty big because he's like Sloth, right?
Yeah.
He's disfigured for whatever reason, right? And everyone is afraid of him at first because the way he looks, and then it's just like, well, doesn't matter the way he looks, he's fine. So we
Mhm.
kind of have that, and then he has a change of heart only because he sees that Robert Patrick like melted him into this
Yeah.
mutant. So he's like, oh, maybe I
He's
shouldn't.
been used.
I've been used. I shouldn't hang out with Robert Patrick anymore. He's a bad man. In the end layer, there's random stuff lying around the kiddie pool, the beach balls, clear plastic garbage bags litter every set. I don't know if you notice
Mhm.
if there's like a railing or any kind of staircase, there are clear ripped up plastic bags attached to them.
Yeah, I never understood what that was. I was like, why? It looks like it's always just like everything's perpetually under construction.
There, that's good. I like that under construction. I was trying to figure out how to kind of describe it. Maybe to make it look destroyed, like there's so much plastic and garbage in Los Angeles now that it's just kind of everywhere. But it's like it's almost like they decorate with it. It's
Yeah,
weird.
that's the thing, right? Like if you want it to be that you want to just kind of be thrown around and just strewn everywhere, but if you're placing it right and it looks clean and done like purposefully, it kind of takes away that aesthetic.
Dale is here. What's up, buddy? The legend, Dale. It's a lot different from Double Dragon Gaiden Rise. There's a cool reveal boss in that game.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Matt, I believe, was saying Matt and Will were saying that this is based off of maybe Double Dragon for the Neo Geo.
Yeah, Double Dragon 5. I think Matt looked
Double
it up.
Dragon 5, yeah, which is a one-on-one fighter. Brian says, in the future, everything has windows, but the windows are broken, so you have to cover them with garbage bags. Clear ones let you see through, obviously. I can see that.
Huh. Yeah, that works.
Bimmy jumps into Robert Patrick's body, and Robert Patrick starts punching himself.
And he starts sounding like it reminded me of like a Bill and Ted moment.
I was gonna, yes, the what was that, Bogus Journey #2, right?
Yep. Hey dudes, what's going on?
Except this time they don't overdub. They actually, like, Robert Patrick actually has to kind of act like Bimmy.
Yeah.
So it's so embarrassing. And he's like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? And I remember watching it this morning. I was like, this. It's one of those, like, oh my God. Stop it. Joseph, what's up from Facebook land? Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Good morning. Cheers.
Oh God. That scene was very cringy. I was just like,
yeah. So the cops handcuff the bad guy. They can handcuff him now, I guess. I don't know what that means that I wrote. I think maybe it means like all of a sudden he's this big, powerful martial arts master with all this magic. And now because he's got beat up, they can handcuff him. Like,
so he never like the power is not in them innately. It's from the medallion, and he lost the medallion. So there is one thing we forgot to mention is that he loses his half of the medallion, right?
Right.
Bimmy and Jimmy both get the medallion. They slap it together, and they both get their powers, and they get these awful, awful suits.
Yeah, I mean, we just had that slide up, right? Oh no, that's not it.
No, that's not it. I don't
no.
think we've shown the suit. We can see it in the background, but they get like these old like martial art. I don't know what do you call those, gis or whatever, but they look, yeah,
That's
those
right,
like what is that?
Okay, I'm going to defend it a bit and say that at least they look. It's almost like the reveal in Mario Brothers when the two get the green and red suits finally, right? It's kind of like that, but I will say at least throughout this whole movie, even when they were in their civilian clothes up until their like final form, they still had the red and blue. I really appreciated that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean they're cheap. There's got like these weird studs. It looks like they're corduroy almost.
Yeah, like are they? Why didn't they just do like a jean outfit at that point, right? Like get the jean vest on.
Matt's probably slamming his fists down on the keyboard saying, Jay, listen, blue is Billy, red is Jimmy, but they will always be Jimmy and Bimmy, thanks to the angry video game nerds. I can't call them their real names. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
but at least Jimmy in this movie is good. Bimmy is Bimmy. He rightfully gets the Bimmy name.
I think that was in Double Dragon 2. That was an error.
Was it 2 or 3?
I think it was 2. Yeah, 2 or 3. It was actually Jimmy and Bimmy.
Yeah.
Joseph says, I saw this in the theaters and my dad won't let me pick up a movie for a year. And my dad won't let me pick up the movie for a year. I don't get it. Because it was so bad, you mean? Oh, he wouldn't let you pick another one. Is that what you mean?
Oh, yeah. You'd be cut off from watching, like, when you have your movie pick nights, you're like, oh, what are we going to watch?
Oh,
it's your turn
yeah.
to choose.
Oh,
you chose Double Dragon. You're probably never going to get invited back. And if it's in your household, you're going to your room while everyone else watches.
The dragon wagon is rebuilt. A Bobo drives them away. They've befriended a Bobo. A Bobo drives them away, and they are all terrified. They're all terrified, and that's how the movie ends. The dragon wagon drives off in the sunset, and they're terrified because a Bobo is a madman driver. So why is
Mhm.
it like, okay, a Bobo, join our group. You're our buddy now, but why let him drive? Because they feel sorry for him because he's melted, or what? Like, so it's a really weird way to end the movie. It's like they're screaming. I guess is it funny? Is that funny?
Maybe kids would find it funny,
Is it
you
funny?
know?
I don't think it's funny.
They thought it was Jimmy taking over a Bobo's body, but no, it's actually a Bobo and he's nuts and he's driving crazy. Ah! No, it's not funny. I tried.
It's not funny. Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's tragic and I feel sorry for a Bobo. I actually really feel for him because like his life, it's not ruined, but I mean, let's even I'm thinking too deeply into this, but when he settles into his new body, let's say, like
Mhm.
he's gonna go through this period of adjustment of like this immense pain and suffering night after night. And you're gonna go to a doctor, and what's the doctor gonna do for you? Dude, I don't know what this is, a Bobo. I can't help you.
Yeah.
He's like,
Bobo, you know what? We're just gonna list you as terminal, and I wish you the best.
yeah, take too many of these pills, and it's you'll be good.
But is that a win on the movie side? Because like as dumb as that a Bobo character is, you mentioning that you feel sorry for that character, does that mean they were portrayed well enough that you were like, yeah, like that's a shitty way for that character to be?
I would say yes. I would say yes. Um, okay, so let's compare. So we've done two of these now. So we watched Super Mario Brothers from 1993,
Mm,
and I'm guessing because that maybe on paper was successful, I think it barely broke even. I think so because that was successful. Now everyone's like, okay, these video games. Here's another way that video game industry can make money. We can make theatrical adaptations of these characters. What's next? Double Dragon. I don't know. In your circle of friends, do you know anybody, even to this day, that says Double Dragon is my favorite game?
no.
I'm not slamming Double Dragon. It's legendary in its place in history. But
I
I'm
feel like
saying
everybody, yeah, like everybody has fond memories of Double Dragon, but like it's no Mario.
it's no Mario. It's no Final Fight. Okay, which is the same kind of game. It's no Streets of Rage.
Yeah. It's no Final Fantasy.
Right.
Like,
Along those lines though, do you know what I mean? Like Streets of Rage. I mean,
oh yeah. But
where it's weird, right? Because without Double Dragon, none of those games I just mentioned would be around. So
yeah,
this is like the first of that kind, right?
it's no Shredder's Revenge. Shredder's Revenge is really good, Brian. You're right.
But I find that most of the other games do it better. That's just my thoughts. I'm talking about the first Double Dragon. My thoughts. Mo, what's going on,
I
buddy?
yeah, it's weird, right? Because like Double Dragon is by all rights, it's a great game. It's a fun game. The new one that just came out is still fun. But
It's
other
great.
games
Yeah.
have definitely done it better. Like you said, Final Fight, Streets of Rage. Like Streets of Rage just came out with their latest one. Was it Streets of Rage
Four.
4?
Yeah.
And that is fantastic.
Yeah.
And like Double Dragon Gaiden, the new one that came out, is really good.
Yeah.
But comparing it to Streets of Rage 4, it doesn't still hold a candle to that. Like
Never
they've done
played
an
four.
amazing it is really good.
Wow.
Like if you like this type of game, definitely check it out. It is available. I know you subscribe to Game Pass at the moment.
Mhm.
So I would check it out on there. I think it'd be a fun one for you to stream. But when you play it, it is night and day.
So it's better than Double Dragon
Yes.
Gaiden.
Like it's more of a traditional beat 'em up. Like the Ninja Double Dragon Gaiden does a little bit more and kind of like roguelike elements.
Right.
That's a term. I always mix up rogue light and rogue like. I keep mixing up the two, so it's one of those two, anyways. But like Streets of Rage 4 is more of a traditional beat 'em up, and it does it a lot better.
I've never heard that term. It's a roguelike. Interesting.
Mm. Yeah, there's
Okay.
like and light.
So I guess my point is then seeing the success of Mario, and I don't think there was a gaming movie before this. I'm not talking about The Wizard. I'm talking about based off of an IP.
Mm.
Was there anything else before Super Mario Brothers? I can't think of one.
No.
So this is around the time. So we get Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and
Yeah.
Mario Brothers. Those are the core big ones. And then you have a lot of just weird spin-offs like House of the Dead and all that stuff. But those are like minor compared to those. My point is, I don't know anyone, even in my circle of friends, like you said, where Double Dragon was like their thing. They were like obsessed with Double Dragon.
Mhm.
So it's a kind of an odd movie to bring out, like game to bring out and make into a movie. Do you agree with that?
I do. Yep. It was a weird pull. I don't know why they decided to do that.
Hmm.
I yeah, like what other games would okay, let's think about this. Let's go back to that time. We're executives on a board and we're like, video games are hot right now.
Mhm.
Nintendo is killing it. How do we make money off of this? They made the Super Mario Brothers movie and that did okay. What can we do? Double Dragon's not the first choice. But what would be
Mm.
another choice? Like ninjas are cool back then. Do we bring out Ninja Gaiden?
Considering the time period and how hot Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were, that made sense that those came out. That's
Yeah.
and that I think those make for interesting stories. Double Dragon. I mean, what else was big? Mega Man. I mean, can you
Like, what do
make a
you do
Mega
for
Man?
Mega Man though? Like, you can't really do much for Mega Man.
Legend of Zelda. Thank God we didn't get that. But there's the Legend of
But
Zelda.
listen, hear me out. What if they had a Legend of Zelda movie back in the '90s that kind of looked like Willow?
I can't. I can't. I can't do it.
Come on,
You at this point you can't give Link a voice. You can't. If you give Link a voice,
the CDI begs to differ.
the CD well the Nintendo cartoon,
Yeah, that too.
right? And both of those are huge failures. So I think at this point, if you're going to do a Zelda movie, it has to be animated, whether it's computer graphics, traditional animation, whatever. It has to be animated, like the Super Mario Brothers movie 2023, which is phenomenal. It's
Mhm.
got to be like that, and only then maybe you can voice Link. But dude, like, okay, it's going to the '90s. Who's gonna be Link? Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, like who's gonna be Link? Think
Who
about
would
it.
play? Huh.
Who would play Link?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh no. I'm trying to think of who would kind of look like Link. I mean, Christian Slater, I think he's really hot then, like hot actor, smaller guy. He would kind of fit.
Tom
Brad Pitt, I
Cruise?
still think was kind of unknown then. I don't know who else. Tom Cruise. Is Tom Cruise too big?
No, Tom Cruise is a little guy. What are you talking about?
Tom Cruise not muscular?
I,
He's muscular, dude. Link
he's
Link is like Spider-Man. He's like slender and tiny and
I think like back in the day, Tom Cruise was not jacked. He's probably a lot more jacked now than he used to be.
that's fair. Matthew, what's going on, mate? In the 90s, it would be Elijah Wood. He looks like an elf. He definitely looks like an elf.
That's a good pull.
But he would be a kid, right? Because he was how like Lord of the Rings was what, 2003, 2002?
Yeah, and he was like what, 20 maybe? 20 something?
Yeah.
So yeah, he would have been a young kid. I don't know.
What about Leonardo DiCaprio? He might have worked.
Leo would have been a kid too, though, wouldn't he have? No, well, when did Titanic come out?
97 was
Okay, so he was like a
Titani.
teenager.
I mean, it would have worked. He's got the blonde. Well, I guess Link doesn't have blonde hair. He would have worked. He's young enough. He could have pulled it off. But do you see what I mean? I think anyone that we look at, we just be like, nah, because Link is so iconic looking.
Yeah, but that's like we're basing off of now. Back then, was Link really iconic looking other than like the 8-bit sprite?
I guess that's not too iconic looking. Tom Cruise is 5'7". Hey, I'm 5'7". You know who else is 5'7"? Luke Skywalker. I don't know. Just saying.
He may be a little muscular, but he's not the biggest. Yeah, see, he's still kind of slim and trim. I feel like you could have done that.
He's pretty jacked in the
Mission
Mission
Impossible?
Impossibles, though. I think
I haven't seen those movies. Everybody says they're good. I need to. I should watch.
I've seen the first one. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. It probably would have been Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I forgot about that guy.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in Tool Time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
that would
boom.
fit.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's a good pull.
100%.
Huh.
100%. Joseph Scott at River Phoenix. Thank you. Oh, dude. Think of the way he looked in Last Crusade. Perfect. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, that's perfect.
See, we could go back in time. We can make this happen, Jay.
We can go back in time? What?
Yeah. Don't tell people on stream.
Matt says, I'm 5'7". I understand the shortness. Hey, come on. It's not that short. Ugh.
It's a little short.
So is Luke's little too short to be a stormtrooper. Damn it.
It's all matching up.
And that was Carrie Fisher that said that. And she's like 5'1". Oh,
yeah,
boy.
she was a tiny lady.
River Phoenix gone too soon. I agreed. Man, he's one of my favorites. He's awesome.
Yeah, like, what would you do back then for movie wise? Like, that's such a weird time. And there definitely like movies were still huge. Like bigger probably than they are. Well, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I feel like the movie era like peaked through that time and a little bit into the 2000s, then kind of dipped a bit, went back up with the Marvel stuff, and now it's kind of like on a decline again.
Now it's like at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, like I don't think of going to movie theaters much anymore, like because everything's at home, right? But
and you and I went and saw The Dial of Destiny. But let's be completely honest. If it was in our house, if it was on streaming service, we would have stayed home.
It already is.
But I mean on day one, right?
No, I know.
We wanted to see it, and we wanted to see it when it was new. So the only way we could is the theater. But if it had been on streaming service, we would have just stayed home and watched it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know that. I wouldn't have gone. I don't want to go to the theater. I hate it. I remember we went to the theater, and it was like dead.
Mm-hmm.
It was really kind of creepy, actually.
That was like the launch weekend for Indiana Jones as well, too.
Yeah.
Like nobody was there.
Good morning, Brandon. What's up, brother? Cheers to you. Morning coffee is back, baby.
Yeah, it has to be a really special movie for me to go out and like peak Marvel, like Avengers stuff was like when we were all going. Not you, but a lot of
always asked me, and I just
yeah. Have you even watched those movies?
Some, yeah. Some, yeah. When Disney Plus came out, there's that you can watch them in chronological order, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do all of this, and I think I got halfway. I did Iron Man, which I think is great. Got halfway through Captain America. I'm like, I'm done. No, it was. Wait, no, it's Iron Man, then Captain Marvel, isn't it? Then Captain America. I don't know. I couldn't.
So there's like weird chronological time stuff, but if you go by like the actual release stuff, some of the early stuff was kind of rough. Like Iron Man definitely 100% was great.
It's great.
The first Captain America was okay. The first Thor movie was garbage. Same with the second one. Like not good. But like after the first like actual Avengers movie onwards, I feel like it got really good. And then after Endgame, like Infinity War Endgame stuff, then it started to teeter down a bit.
My thing is this, and I'm probably going to offend a lot of Marvel fans. It's my opinion, and that's all it is. I don't think Thor is interesting. I don't think the Hulk is interesting. What's the other one? Captain America, I definitely don't think is interesting. Iron Man is okay. He's just like Batman. He's all right. I think Robert Downey really lifts that character up. That's just me. So when those are your main movies forming the Avengers, and Black Widow, I don't think is interesting either. So it's like, I don't care, right? I certainly understand why people like those characters, but when the Thor movie came out and all that, I'm just like, eh. And remember that was around the era, the 360 and the PS3. We're getting those terrible
Yeah,
superhero games. They were just awful.
yeah, they were
It
bad.
wasn't helping things, right? Brian says Iron Man is greater than Batman. This is a topic, my friend.
That's a topic that's been battling for eons. I feel like,
Well, Marvel versus DC, and then there's
yeah, and those two are almost kind of like mirror images of themselves, really, right? Like billionaire philanthropists that go as vigilante. You know, because that's essentially what Iron Man does. He portrays himself as a superhero, but he takes the law into his own hands for doing things, right?
and that's why I just don't think they're. It's interesting. Like he's a billionaire from his parents' fortune. I don't know about Iron Man. I'm talking about Batman. It's just I don't know. I like the more of the stakes, like Peter Parker and Matt Murdock, and they're just street guys. Don't have a lot of money. They got to work for a living during the day. I kind of like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. Brandon's
Yeah,
giving me
we're getting
crap.
sidetracked because
I
Double
haven't.
Dragon was
I haven't finished Kung Fury yet, and I have to do that. Yes, I forgot about it, buddy. I will. I promise.
That's the funny
Uh,
one, right?
yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, like that movie's great.
I gotta
It's
watch it.
I love that like it's there's an old kung fu movie that they take scenes from, and then they've just shopped in that actor to do different scenes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Ah, that movie's so funny.
Matthew Matson says, I think you don't find them interesting because you don't even know who they are. The MCU have very little in common with the MCU versions. Well, I mean, that's not true. I read comic books since I was a kid. Even back then, I just didn't find Thor, like the God of Thunder, that's just me though, right? That's not appealing to me. I could relate more to Peter Parker because he's a kid who had these powers he didn't know why, and he was a reporter and he was always trying to hide his identity. He was in love with a girl that didn't care about him, and it was just more interesting to me than that. And a billionaire who builds a suit,
Yeah.
and what's the other
My stuff with
Captain
the
America? Yeah,
like comic book stuff. I've never read a lot of the comic books, but I know of like growing up, it was a lot of the Spider-Man animated series, and I always
yeah,
enjoyed Spider-Man more from what
yeah,
all the other ones did because, like, yeah, like you said, like he has more grounded stuff that you can relate with, like having to deal with relationships and his
yeah.
job. And you see more of that of Peter Parker than just being Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, obviously, right?
Yeah,
This is kind of like we talked about GI Joe. What makes GI Joe so great is there's so many characters. What makes Marvel Comics so great is there's so many characters that most likely yours is going to be different than mine, right? For your favorite
and
and different
that's
reasons.
great, right? Like I say that with video games all the time. Like there's so many options out there. Like there's no
Yeah,
right or wrong if somebody doesn't like something that you like or somebody
yeah.
likes something that you do not like. You know, everybody's opinion's valid, and like these, there's so many of them. Like, just let everybody should just enjoy what they enjoy. It's great.
So next on the agenda, I think we're going to do another gaming magazine.
Oh, okay, good. I wasn't ready for a movie.
Yeah, we're gonna do another gaming magazine. Oh, let's put a fun picture up here. I like the one where they're screaming. That's hilarious. There you go. But I want to ask everybody in the chat right now, what video game movie would you like us to do next? I'm gonna
Oh,
get.
this is
I'm gonna let you guys choose. Let us know what you want us to do next. What you want us to cover.
gonna be bad.
For next time. But we're going to label this show Morning Coffee because it's at 10 a.m. on Sundays now. There will be one Sunday a month when we cannot do it. So it'll be 3 or 4 Sundays. But as always, in my social tab, in Will's social tab, we'll keep you guys updated. Okay, here we go. Assassin. What's Assassin? Oh, the
Assassin and Creed are two different movies, Brian. I don't know. I've
Well, there's
never
the
seen Assassin,
Assassin.
but
Oh, I know Assassin Creed. That's with
oh,
Brokeback Mountain guy. I can't remember his name. Not Joker, the other guy. Jake Gyllenhaal. He's the assassin, right?
yeah, in Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Never
I've
seen it.
never actually watched that. He also played the Prince and Prince of Persia. They had a Prince of Persia movie.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of movies we can watch. A lot of them are bad.
Matthew Matson says Resident Evil with a laughing face. Matt Rubin says Resident Evil. Brandon says Ready Player One. Jeff says Alone in the Dark. All right. Well, there's lots to consider there.
I'm glad no one said the one I was worried about because I don't want to watch it again. And I'm not saying the movie's name because I don't want to watch it again. It was that bad.
Oh, I know.
It
I know
makes
you're. I know
it
you're
makes
Achilles.
yeah. It makes Mario Brothers and this look like masterpieces.
We'll give the chat a couple of clues. It's based on
an arcade
fairly popular shooting game in the arcade.
Why'd you have to go shooting?
It's made by Sega.
Don't do it.
And it rhymes with House of the Bed.
Oh. You have to watch it too if this happens. That movie is so awful.
Well, we'll put a poll up on my YouTube page to get official count, but I see 2 Resident Evils so far.
Michael Fassbender in Assassin's Creed. Oh, they kind of look the same.
You're too good.
No, they don't.
I thought it was Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know. House of the Dead? I wouldn't wish that movie on my worst enemy.
Thank you, Matt. Oh my God. You know, if we keep this series going, maybe it'll be like some special anniversary thing we'll do for that. That movie is god awful. It is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I can't say I can recall it. All I remember is the 16-bit flashes of the game.
I watched a movie called Thanksgiving about a turkey that murdered people, and I enjoyed that more than House of the Dead.
Dude, that was one of the early movies that were on the Canadian Netflix.
Yeah.
Canadian Netflix used to be like what Tubi is now, where it was just a lot of B stuff. And I remember Thanksgiving always popping up. So there you go.
We watched it. That movie is awful. It had its funny moments.
Is it as bad as Doom with The Rock in it?
Listen, don't judge me for this, okay, guys? I like that Doom movie. I watch that Doom movie at least once or twice a year.
I'm sorry to hear that. I like watching Dwayne Johnson. I think he's a great actor. So I like that he's in it, but no one said The Wizard. Is it because The Wizard is so good? That's the one.
Is The Wizard really a video game movie?
Yes.
It's about video games.
Well, Brandon said Ready Player One. I would think that's in the same.
Is that how we're going with that? So we can expand it out.
More like a movie with video games. Yeah, it doesn't have to be based on like a game. Just a video game movie, right?
All right.
So I guess you could really consider Tron, maybe. Tron would be.
I wouldn't mind watching Tron.
A gaming movie.
But we will have to watch the newer Trons. Those are also good. I think they're good.
Okay.
I think they're good.
Okay, I'll put a vote up this week, guys. So please participate and you can vote. And again, once we pick the movie, feel free to watch it so you can discuss it if you dare. Or if you have it burned in your brain. You know, I've never seen Double Dragon. I'll fully admit this is the first time I'd seen it.
You loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So we don't do reviews here. We just talk about it. So Will, out of the two, do you think this is better or worse than Super Mario Brothers 1993?
I was able to sit through this without having to pause it and like take breaks from it.
What about now?
I take it all back. No.
Okay,
I enjoyed this more than Super Mario Brothers, personally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is better than Mario. Again, we're going to kind of compare. Maybe at the end of this journey, we'll do a tier list of video game movies.
It's not a good movie. This is not saying like go out and watch this movie by any standards. It's not good. It's better than Mario Brothers the movie though.
I would say I wouldn't count Turtles because Turtles is based off a book. But I like the way you think, yeah, and you're putting too much goodness in there, Matt. Too much. That's too good. That's too good. It's too good.
Yeah, see, Brian has that pick out there. He says though, because like by that, what did he say? By your logic, they play Narc in the background in a scene of TMNT. So do that movie.
Oh, so that counts. Okay, if that's how we want to do it.
That's a deep cut.
Hey, good afternoon. What's going on, mate? Good to see you in Facebook land. Thanks for tuning in. Ready Player One is literally a book. Okay, I see where you guys are going. But I think we can all agree that the first Turtles movie is great.
That's still the best movie, like comic book movie to me. Like the first Ninja Turtles movie. That movie is just stellar, and I wish Brian and I have talked about this a bunch because we love Ninja Turtles. I just wish they would go back to like a darker take on Ninja Turtles.
Well, they did with Last Ronin, right? Oh, you mean
yeah, but like movie wise,
yeah,
like everything. So like we went and saw that new Ninja Turtles movie in theaters, and I liked it for what it was, but I still wish they would just kind of go back to like the nitty gritty, like original take on the.
Jose, first time watching direct. There's a lot of us on YouTube. For whatever reason, not a lot of people joining on the Facebook, but we're all on YouTube, so all of us are here. But dude, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for hanging out with Will and I. Very kind.
Thank you for being here.
Mortal Kombat.
Everyone for being here.
And thank you for not saying Mortal Kombat. This is the first time I was like, I know how embarrassing Mortal Kombat is.
Is it? No. Okay, listen. The first Mortal Kombat movie is good. I stand by this. The first one is good. The second one, though, Annihilation.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Annihilation is bad. When you have Nightwolf come on as a wolf and then shapeshift out and said, "Yeah, that's my animality." That's a fucking bad movie.
Now I want to watch it. I remember. I can't remember the video store in town here, but it was one of the only places. We're going back here. This is one of the only places you can rent laser discs. I remember having Mortal Kombat Annihilation in my hands and saying no and putting it down. I couldn't do it back then.
That soundtrack, do you remember like when I grew up? I don't know if it was the same for you, but that Mortal Kombat theme song, everybody was listening to that.
Dude, it was wicked. It's
so good.
So good. It's so good. Yeah. Like you would put that on and it would pump you up to play whatever other game you were going to play.
Yeah.
Right? It was so good.
That soundtrack still holds up. Like that opening like Mortal Kombat theme is fantastic. That movie is iconic. I don't care what anybody says. The first Mortal Kombat movie is great.
Uh-oh. This is like Will's kryptonite.
Dale, why? Dale, why you doing this to me, Dale?
Mortal Kombat the movie is nowhere near as bad as Double Dragon. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is about on the same level as Double Dragon. Okay, so
I don't know. I
watch Annihilation. Well, I'm sure we'll get to it, and it'll be great. I kind of am excited about that. Okay, I'm with you in Super Mario Brothers. So there's a few times in Mario 93 when I was watching it this last time for our show, and I was looking through the TV. Like,
yeah, you don't really focus, right?
So zoned out. I'm just like, this is just noisy and gobbledygook. I didn't have that with Double Dragon. A little bit at the beginning with the car chase, and then after that, it kind of kept my attention. So,
yeah, like I said, I was able, like when I watched Super Mario Brothers, I had to watch it in sections. I had to stop because I realized I was not focusing on it. I was just like zoning out. So I was like, no, I gotta I stop. Come back to it, continue on where I was. But with like Double Dragon, I just sat through it and I was like, it's not a good movie, but it was enjoyable enough to keep my attention.
You got to have it on screen and then check the countdown timer. That's what I do. So it's like, okay, there's only 49 minutes left. You just got to get it all over with at once, man. You're prolonging the pain. You just got to put one viewing, put it in, do what you're doing on the side, and then just be, okay, there's only 15 minutes left. Thank God. You're making it harder on yourself. I'm telling you,
just close your eyes and casually look at.
No, you can't. Like Clockwork Orange, you have to have those things to keep your eyes open to watch it. Like, So it's got to be
Oh, that Mary
Brandon.
Buddy's movie bad.
Thanks. With the $5 super chat, is morning coffee back with a vengeance? Yes, it is, my friend.
With a new
Uh,
face.
It's going to be every Sunday. Will and I, still video game themed like it was before. But we're not going to watch the videos. We're going to talk about the videos. Again, I don't want to get into copyrights and all that stuff with other videos. So that's
YouTube be weird about that stuff lately.
I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. So we'll have the movie ahead of time. We're going to be flip-flopping back and forth, looking through old game magazines and publications, and then flipping to a movie the next week. And that's a lot of fun. At least I don't know if you guys like the video game mag thing. Hopefully you do. I find it very fun. We don't know what's going to be on each page. And just to go back to see gems like the Bishu company that makes
I'm gonna get one of
controllers.
those controllers just so I can have one.
I want to get one so I can throw it. Brandon, thank you. Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way all these months to incorporate morning coffee. And a lot of that had to do with I didn't want to break up the stream. And then Will and I decided to move this to Sunday. And so this is the stream for today. So thanks for the support, dude. I appreciate it. It's back, baby. All right, Willie, where can everybody find you?
I am live over on YouTube here at YouTube/@WillyLo. I'll be back later on today streaming some video game stuff. I'm playing a game called Ultra Kill.
Never heard of it. Cool.
Yeah, it's a newer game that came out. It looks pretty cool, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be starting up Tuesday afternoon streams. So I'm going to be on YouTube twice a week now.
Nice. Good for
and
you.
then a couple times on twitch.tv/WillyLo as well, where we're playing. I'm playing a lot of Starfield right now. I can't play anything else. It's honestly that's the only game that's on my mind, and it's all I play.
Brandon says my son loves Ultra Kill, and I'm gonna check out your stream because I don't know what that is. So that's great. Are you going live with this at the same time?
At live with what? I'm confused by that question. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, not too sure.
Tonight I'll be I may do it a little bit earlier because I have to work tomorrow, so it may be a little bit earlier for a stream tonight. But I was planning for 7, but I may do it closer to like 5, just so I can get a little bit longer stream in, so then I don't have to rush to get to bed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, yeah, check it out. We're getting there. Like streaming this stream on both channels? No, I've wanted to keep this for Jay's channel. I may Jay and I have talked about it off stream anyways, but I like just having it on the one channel so everybody just comes together. I think it's a lot easier.
Yeah. And I'm with you guys, Thursday through Sunday at 10 a.m. Real simple right here on YouTube. Sunday will be morning coffee, so I'm really happy to bring that back. So next Sunday you're good, right? Or is the next Sunday the bad one?
Hold on.
There's one Sunday that
sure.
we're not going to do, which will be a game stream instead for me.
What's that? The 24th, right? Yeah, I'm still good. It's the weekend after that I'll have to work.
Okay, so we'll be doing morning coffee next Sunday too. So thank you so much, guys, for the support. Thanks for hanging out with Will and I. We will see you guys very soon. I'll be back at you on Thursday. All right, guys. Have a good week. Take care.
Bye, friends.